morning. We are up and Adam and alive on a Sunday. What's going on, everybody? This is your main man. Dark skinned and not offended, clean shaven, no misbehaving. Dark Vader's only son and Count Chocula's favorite nephew. This your main man, accounting time. Checking in early in the morning. Let's go out here and get this money. I ain't stutter. Early bird catches the worm. And that's in all phases of life. So how y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing well. I hope y'all doing good. It's another daylight savings. We done lost an hour. This absolutely sucks. But at least my day will go by just like this. Ain't nothing wrong with another day going by with an extra hour to go with it on top. All right. It's time to dip. Let's start this voyage and get to work. So, uh, of course, my bulletproof rain jacket. Actually, day. Oh, I see somebody else moving. Either they moving in, moving out. They look like they moving out. Can't tell. But hey, everybody downsizing their expenses. This ain't nothing new. It's getting hard out here for families. But we still got to get out here and grind and make a difference. The kids still got to eat and they still gonna grow, and you still gonna have to get a bigger place for when they get too big to sleep in the one room they already in. So of course, there was a lot of accidents last night because, of course, we had some more torrential downpours out here. Yeah, stay in your lane with your crazy ass. Oh, yep. Give your boy a like as you come in. I appreciate it. And then we gonna go ahead and make it happen, Captain. Now, hopefully it don't rain today. So therefore, I could get my car washed, which it is crazy when it rained constantly. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Yes, I have a chrome dome. I'm like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I got a dome. Yes, my shit is bald. I mean, tell me something I don't know. But no, good morning to you, brother. How you doing? I hope everything's well. I hope the family's well. Yes, it is. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you for coming in, guys. Thank you for coming in. Yep. So this is day 2 for your boy. Of course, got the double header today. We'll talk about the double headers on my next live. But today, we going to work to get this money. I got to change my clock, of course. My clock is an hour behind. Well, thank you for the fire emojis or the funny emojis. I appreciate that. Give your boy a like. I appreciate that. And we could keep that going. Get the engagement up because I want to boost this channel and help you guys with your budgeting. So if you do want to work like your boy and work multiple jobs and they both paying real well. Hey, let's find a way to minimize the expenses and maximize the savings. I mean, because ain't nothing like it when you're saving your money, you're you're taking care of your bills, and your bills are handled, and then you got stuff to take care of you. The main thing that's making all this wheel go round. So whether if you get massages or some shit, or you could go swimming, or you could go to your gym and sit in a sauna and relax your muscles, having that money to be able to do that, that's what it's for. You should be able to do that. You know, that's why they say the grind is real. Because it'll never stop. You know, we always gonna have to make that money, good, bad, or indifferent, you know. You know, my whole thing is I want to show the process step by step on how I took care of things. And like I want to be able to prove that you can do this on your own. Budgeting is easy. You can start from an Excel spreadsheet and get the budget template. And it got multiple budget templates. Mhm. And get one to your liking. Use that, you know, and start tracking where your money is going. Because for most of us, you get your money in your right hand, you put it in your left hand and go pay shit, and it's gone. If you keep a couple of dollars to yourself, where you got to get gas and everything, I mean, to you that's a bonus, you know. But I'm talking about trying to get your money and keeping it and still have your expenses paid because you laid the groundwork to get things handled. So that's what your boy is about. Because one day I'm gonna get a whole check and I ain't gonna have to spend it because I took care of everything. You know, you gonna do a savings with the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your check go to you, 30% go to your bills, 20% go to your savings. Like, if I paid my cell phone bill uh 2 months ahead, and then what's this, March, and I ain't gotta pay my cell phone again until May, I should theoretically have more money in my pocket at the end of the day. But some of us will have that extra money and we'll spend it on shit that we didn't even need. No, you need to spend it on the shit that needs to be taken care of first. You invest your money, whether it's stocks or crypto, you know, or you could do what grandma used to do and get the Quaker Oat box and put a whole bunch of 20s in it until it can't close no more. I mean, but at least you know that money ain't being spent on bullshit. You know, you got to put the work in for yourself. You know, because when it's all said, so they got to take care of you. There ain't nobody else gonna do it. You know, we got unknown callers calling early in the day. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm getting out here. I'm trying to make this happen, Captain. I mean, I'm getting my money and bounce. I'm gonna go in, put my visor on, say hello to the customers, you know, talk to my coworkers, get that clock rolling. And then when it's time to go, I'm gone. you know, when it's time to get up out of here, and it's time to leave one job and go to the next, or leave or go home, because the hardest part after you do all the grinding and taking care of everything, the hardest part is going home. What's going on? Nick, my brother, what's going on, Nick? It's good to see you. Yes, I'm building my channel. I can finally go live. It's good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well out there. Keep making that dough. Keep grinding. Because eventually we already know uh corporate America is downsizing for themselves to keep their shareholders happy, to keep the doors open. They'll get rid of you in a minute. And they'll keep their jobs and everything else. Just like I had a live yesterday, and I was talking to the guy at Home Depot, and he saw I had another job, and he was like, "Yo, that's crazy." I said, "No, it's not." I was like, I said, if I wanted to work 10 hours a day for 6 days, my job won't let me do it. They won't. And the reason why they won't, because in those 10 hours, they have to find it within the numbers. Is it sustainable keeping him at that pace and paying him at that rate? And do we get enough product out to make that happen? I mean, it's self-explanatory. You know, they won't let me do it. Because you're gonna have to be able to show why you keeping them for that long every day for 6 days. You got to be able to show that. And if you get a day that's under the amount that you should keep him for 10 hours a day for 6 days, guess what they'll tell you? We got to cut your hours, dog. Your shit'll go to 10, then down to 6, then it goes to 4. And they'll keep you for 4 until you can work 7 days a week. Man, hell no. No. Sometimes you got to know the math and how things work to get things running. Like I said, there's some jobs out here, people will say it is beneath them. Well, Nick, I try my best to be honest with the people. I really do. Yep, and I be watching your stuff still, you know. Like I said, I follow my tribe of guys that we think alike, you know. Like you were saying, you ain't gonna want to work for corporate forever. And a lot of us, it's gonna the lifestyles that we did in the 20s is gonna come up in the late 2020s now. Cause at some point when you get into the 2030s, everybody gonna have a business. Everybody gonna start buying the existing business where you ain't got to run it. You already got the people in place. All you got to do is pay them people, and they scratch you a check for your part, and you keep it pushing. And you gonna make all the money, and it's gonna put you in a different tax bracket. And then now you gotta learn how to pay the tax game. Man, I saw this video yesterday I saw a lottery attorney, and he was talking about how some people win 1 billion, and then when it's all said and done, depending on when you win the lottery, you'll just come up with 200 million. Well, I won for 1 billion. Well, if you take the lump sum, like I've always told people, I will never ever take the lump sum. Never. I'm gonna make the state pay me until it kills them. Pay me all my money and all my installments for 30 years. If I'm making that kind of coin, I'm gonna make sure I stay in the best health to keep every nickel. But he was saying that, let's say you win in the later months of the year, and he said that your state usually supposed to tax you 34%, but since you take the lump sum, they took 24. You still owe 12%. So if you won in November, then when December comes around, your state gonna be looking for that extra 12%. And if you won for $1 billion, they're gonna take even more money. No, man. We want more money in our pockets to do stuff that we want to do. You know, because I know for a fact I'm doing this now so I could put my feet up later. And believe me, when I was growing up, we didn't have all this information and financial literacy. That shit was a farce. We didn't know nothing. You know what was our financial literacy? Working at the plant for 25 years, get your pension, move to Florida and retire. That was our that was our financial literacy. Nobody was talking about trying to put stuff in the stocks. There was no such thing as crypto and everything else. There was no Uber Eats, no DoorDash, no Uber, no Lyft, no nothing. The only way you was gonna make money, paper routes. Yes, paper routes. And owning your own landscaping, owning a gas station or a convenience store, which you still gotta pay vendors with that. You know. So yes, in a sense, you're gonna have to have a business to make it by. I want to have a business at some point. Yes. Yeah. That was it. That was our financial literacy. My mom was like, either you go to school, you either work at the post office, you work at one of the big three in the auto plant, or you go to the army. You wasn't staying at home living with her. She had it already set up for you that this was gonna happen. Yeah. You definitely was had to either go to school and get a good job, and then when you got the job, they wanted you to keep it for 20, 30 years or 25 years and get a pension and retire. Man, that shit was crazy back then. You know. So now with this new wave of the internet and having things like that, like to me, my upstart didn't start till I started doing Uber. And now it's what, 10 years? And 2016. Right. My mom was like, you ain't staying with her. And if you staying with her, you paying rent in the house that you grew up in, staying for free. Nick, you better tell them. Now you see moms getting shamed for charging their kids rent. No. Your mom is charging your kids rent because your mom is having a hard time paying her own bills. That's why she's charging her kid rent. Hell, but with me, at least, when I was growing up, shit, hell, I had my own house phone. I had a landline in my own name. Already had it. I had a landline in my own name by the time I was 14. Back then, landlines was like probably $16 to $22 a month to keep. And I kept a landline. And then I had got my own pager. Now, I still had to pay, it wasn't paying rent. I had to pay my part of the grocery bill. I'm a middle child of 7. So imagine you have 9 people in your house. You bought 1 gallon of milk in my house, it was gone in an hour. Now you got to wait till the food stamps come next month to get milk. No, no, my mom was like, no, we not doing that. you know, oh, I got 15 minutes. I'm going to chat it up with y'all until about 10:55. and and straight up, uh the grocery bill every week, and everybody was born in stairs. And if you don't know what that means everybody was either or a year or 2 years apart. So from my oldest brother to me, it was 4 years straight. My mother had Kenna, she had Jamila, she had Rodney, and she had me. That was in 4 straight years. Because everybody was born in 70, 71, 72, and 73. 2 years later, my younger brother Quan, that's 75. And then 2 years after that, my baby sister Rashida in 77. So that's 6 kids in 1 decade. And then my baby brother wasn't born until 86. So yeah, 9 people in the house, mom and grandma. That was your 6, 7 in my era. And you know, that's how it went down. So everybody was getting a license around the same time. Some of us graduated together around the same time and shit like that. Boy, my mother was sick of that shit. She was like, I can't handle it. Y'all need to work. Everybody who turned 14, she took you to the labor office and got you a work permit. By the time you was about to turn 16, you was already driving. She had you driving at 14. So by the time you got to 16, you knew how to drive. And then back then, the questions on the driver's test never changed. So let's say somebody failed their test. We got all the right answers, memorized them all. So when you took your exam, you passed the first time and you had your license that day. And back then, you didn't get your picture license, you got a paper license. Your picture license was made in the capital city and then they mailed it to you. And then once you got your driver's license, the picture one, you held on it for dear life because if you lost your license, it took you a month to get a replacement. That's how primitive times were, you know. So straight up and down, everything was hard body. And like I said, when you got kids galore, that shit gets expensive. You can't help but to make them work, you know. And then in the summer times, my mom was like, all right, everybody go to your dad's house or you going to camp. Well, my mother couldn't stand my dad. So I didn't meet my dad till I was 30. you know. I would ask my mom about my dad, and my mom would sit up there and say, why you want to know about him? Bitch, because I see everybody else got a dad. I want to know who the fuck mine is. She'd be like, oh, I'll tell you when you get older. By the time I turned 16, 17, the moment I start asking, be like, you don't need to know. See? The fuckery begins. And then this is how you start not being a son husband and start being your own man. Because now your mom promised you something, you got of age, and then now your mom still don't want to let you know. Now you're like, all right, mom, you on that bullshit. Mom ain't the superhero that she was when you were little. Now she's starting to be the ops. She was the adversary at a certain point. By the time you got 2021, you ain't even want to live to be around her. You know, because then when everybody else moved out, now you still stuck paying a grocery bill like it's still 7 people in the house. Like, no. Like, seriously? Like, man, you start to grow up quick. And when I moved out, I said I wasn't coming back, and I never came back. you know, I never lived with my mother ever again after I moved out. And don't get me wrong, she's no longer with us. I still miss the little shit that she used to say and the stuff I hear people talk, and it reminds me of her. But the thought process on how she did shit, nah. I'm better off being my own individual. Straight up. No. No, because I can imagine my mother being alive today trying to do Ubers and shit. Oh my God. I can see it. I can see it now. She done said something that's factual, and somebody like, that's not true. I can see my mother now. Bitch, what the fuck you talking about? Like, straight like that. Still mindset in the 80s and the 90s. She ain't progressed not one bit. Still, she'll be driving, turn all the way around. Bitch, what you talking about? Not even paying attention who's in front. No, my mom ain't care about nobody's opinion. She ain't care about nobody's feelings. And a lot of times as an individual, you can't care about everybody's feelings because you're going to have to do what's best for you. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm up now at work. I got about 6 hours of sleep because when I got home, my wife had to get up because she was working in the wee hours in the morning. I walked her to the car. I ain't gonna let my wife leave out of the house and wee hours in the morning and shit like that. I don't care how safe my neighborhood or my complex is. No, I got my ass up and I walked her to her car. you know. Then I took my ass to sleep. But I did the one smart thing though. I took my shower last night. So then when I got up, all it was getting up, brush your teeth, trim your face hairs and everything else, look presentable for the public, and let's go out here and get this bread. My money comes on my card at the end of my shift about 3 a.m. in the morning. Right. That's just being a man. Exactly, Nick. Because it's in you. When you go out here and life starts smacking the shit out of you and you start making decisions, do I keep my lights on or do I get groceries? Right. I ain't let my and then my complex, more people done moved in, so it's less parking availability. Well, now for the weekend, my wife goes to work. She leave out of the house at 3 in the morning. She has to be at work at 4 and she gets off at 2. When she comes home at 2, it's ample parking. She could park right in front of the steps. I'm still not gonna let her walk out there by herself. And she parked in front of the steps. Cause I know when my wife come home, she ain't leaving back out. Now that's for me and my brother. We'll come in and go out as much as we want. I don't give a fuck if I had a parking spot right at the steps, went to the store, came back. Now I gotta park 3 buildings down. I don't care. As long as my car is there when I come out there the next day. That's all I care about. Leave my shit alone. I work too hard for have other people to put the work in to plan and strategically watch me work to take my shit. That same thought process you put in to take my shit, you should have put in to get your own shit. Leave my stuff alone. Oh shit, the mail truck got right hand driving. Boy, you about to get got. I want a right hand driving vehicle so bad. The mail truck got a right hand side. It looks like a minivan. It don't even look like the traditional truck. I know those are right hand driving. I know that since I was learning how to ride a bike on one training wheel, not two, one. But hell, it is what it is. What time is it? It's 10:56. What's up, Evans Fishing Adventure? Thank you for coming in for your boy checking in. Oh, okay. I got an error code. I could change it. It ain't nothing major. But it's time to go in here and start making the donuts. I thank you all for coming to the live and giving me a thumbs up and liking the video. I appreciate it. Just do me a favor. Be aware of your surroundings. Be safe out there. And at the end of the night, get your money and bounce. Go home to your family and come home in one piece. I will talk to you guys when I go to job number 2. I see y'all at 4 o'clock. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Be safe out there. Good to see you, Nick. Thank you for checking in. Peace.